This is 10 Eyewitness News with Sandra Sully.
Hello, I'm Sandra Sully.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. With me are four brilliant comedians. On my right, we have Susie McCabe and Alex Keeley, and facing them are Crystal Evans and Scott Agnew. In the news this week, a unicorn named Finny, who has a traffic cone for a horn, has been unveiled as the official mascot for the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games. The unicorn symbolises Scotland, whilst the traffic cone symbolises how hard the Games will make it to drive anywhere in Glasgow. The warm weather has meant that Scotland's cherry growers have produced a glut of the fruit. Yes, eating a cherry counts as one of your 5 a day, but that still leaves you another 4 Empire biscuits to get through. And it's been announced that the children's TV show Balamory, filmed on the Isle of Mull, will return to our screens next year. Most Scottish islands have a police officer, nursery teacher, shopkeeper and bus driver. But the weird thing about Balamory is that they're not all the same person. Right, you've met the teams. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where the teams have to guess 2 major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Susie and Alex, can you tell me what this is all about?
Police say they're confident they've got the right
shops on the Royal Mile
ahead of the US President's visit here this week. This time he'll be in Scotland for longer.
With nearly 5 million overnight stays in Scotland's capital city, do you think
Donald Trump's
is becoming a problem?
Right, Susie, you're up first here. What do you think our first story might be?
I think it might be the Donald coming to play golf. meet Big John Swinney and tell us how much he loves Scotland.
Yes, US President Donald Trump is in Scotland this weekend. He's due to visit his golf resorts at Turnberry on the Ayrshire coast and Meany in Aberdeenshire. Ahead of the visit, Police Scotland said they were confident they had the right security operation in place, despite early criticism that police resources were being stretched to accommodate the visit. During his trip to Scotland, Donald Trump will meet Sir Keir Starmer. No doubt he will take the Prime Minister's advice on important questions such as, do you think I need an 8-iron or a 9-iron? Well, there you go, Susie. You got the right answer. So, thoughts then. What do you make of Donald Trump's visit?
I was actually driving down the M74 onto the M6 yesterday going to Newcastle, and all the police vans and the police cars were coming up the way from all the different police forces, and I thought, that's good, that's great, because there's nothing that Scottish protesters will love more than being told not to protest by English police officers.
Alex, what do you think then of the visit of Donald Trump to Scotland?
Well, it's meant to be like a personal visit, not a state visit. But then, like, how personal a visit can it be if you're flying in on, like, Air Force One? His golf course has a coat of arms that got registered in 2011, which I think is too late to register a coat of arms. I don't think you're allowed a coat of arms after, like, the invention of drone warfare.
Scott Agnew, what are you thinking then? What are your thoughts on Donald Trump's visit?
I quite like somebody that got up to the Aberdeenshire golf course and put the wee sign and twinned with Epstein Island. I thought that was quite a good move, you know. John Swinney's under a bit of pressure. Apparently, he's supposed to be pushing them on human rights records and all the rest of it, you know. And you just know how this is going to turn out. Because did you see Trump asked that there has to be pure cane sugar given back in Coca-Cola? we're going to give away our human rights record so we can get false sugar iron brew back.
Crystal Evans, what is your take on Donald Trump's visit to Scotland?
I can't help but think that this is like a personal attack on me that he's doing here. Like, I don't know where else I can run, honestly. No, I know he's the president, but like he is just like any other American that comes over here. You know, like I love asking Americans that have just got to Scotland, you know, like, what brings you to Scotland? And they're always like, oh, well, actually, see, I'm Scottish. And I'm tracing my roots, right? And I'll be like, oh my God, you should tell every Scottish person you meet that. You are going to be so popular.
Susie, you have mentioned about the amount of police that are being used within Scotland and being brought here. Do you think this is a legitimate use of police resources?
Oh, well, the football's not on, you know. Police Scotland, innit? It's like he's no much of a president, they're no much of a police force. Do you know what I mean? They're just a bit Balamori.
The guy that runs the Police Federation, he was complaining that the police might be overworked. And he said, you know, some of our police officers might have to work 12 hours a day.
Okay.
Oh, because there's nobody in this current climate no working 12 hours a day. Do you know what I mean?
Well, none of us are working 12 hours a day. You're lucky if we're working 20 minutes a day. Do you know what I'm saying, fella?
I think about working 12 hours a day. Do you know what I mean?
So, as you may be aware, SNP leader at Westminster, Stephen Flynn, joked that he'll be washing his hair when Donald Trump is in the UK for his state visit in September. Well, what will our guests this week be doing while Donald Trump is here in Scotland?
Perfect time to sneak into the White House. No security, toilet rolls in the Oval Office, like leave a rotting fish in there, swap out the Winston Churchill bust for like a Churchill the dog bust, and then just get out.
The SNP's Westminster leader, Stephen Flynn, says that he'll be washing his hair when Donald Trump does his state visit to the UK in September. Susie, what are your plans for when Trump is here in Scotland?
Writing better jokes for Stephen Flynn, right? That is such an Aberdonian northeast bit of banter, isn't it?
Of course, Sir Keir Starmer and Donald Trump have a lot in common, as both their fathers made tools. Right, over to you, Scott and Crystal. What was the other story we were after?
There's too many tourists in Edinburgh.
Well done. This is the story that Edinburgh is the latest destination to come under the spotlight as a hotspot for over-tourism. A BBC report found that on the Royal Mile alone, there are 72 shops dedicated to tourist souvenirs, selling everything from kilts to Highland Cow fridge magnets. Locals living in the Royal Mile say that the 72 tourist shops have taken over the area and led to a lack of traditional Scottish high street shops like Poundland or the American Candy Store. Well done on the right answer, Crystal. So what do you think? Is there a problem with over-tourism in Scotland?
I suppose it's not tourism that's the problem, it's the way it's handled. I mean, it's clear why people want to visit Scotland. You know, it's gorgeous, lots of history, and most Americans think that it's Ireland.
What do you think then, Scott? Do you think there is a problem with over-tourism in Scotland?
What's wrong with this country? Right, the English don't want migrants. We don't want tourists. Right? I was just going to shut the door and sit in the house myself with no lights on, just... But no, what a miserable, greeting-faced bunch of folk we've become. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you're coming here to spend your money? Oh, no, keep your money. We'll sit here ourselves with our tablet and our nae teeth. You know what I mean?
When I was reading about the article, here is the most Scottish nonsense you'll ever hear, right? In 2004, this Victorian-era built school had 165 pupils, and now the roll is down to 118. That's well below the 210 capacity. Are you moaning that your children are in classrooms of a smaller size and getting a better education?
But I think I've admired in the Scottish shops how you've basically tricked everyone into thinking that there's a tartan for every surname on the planet. Like, oh, Garcia, yes, right this way, madam. So don't lose that.
72 gift shops on the Royal Mile. Alex, what do you think should actually be on the Royal Mile and why?
So I don't think all the gift shops are the problem. It's the tat that they're selling in the shop. So it should be like, a souvenir is fine. You should just be leaving Scotland with like an authentic Scottish souvenir, like liver failure, right? That should be the...
Susie, what do you think should be in the Royal Mile and why?
A tram. Tram. As a Scottish person who looks at the Royal Mile and thinks, oh, that'll be a nice walk.
Locals have called on Edinburgh City Council to put more effort into cleaning the Old Town. Councillors say if they do that, they'll have to change the name from Old Reekie to Old Lemon Freshie. And at the end of that round, well done, it's 2 points apiece. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, broadcasting legend Kirsty Wark and comic David Kay. So, Scott and Crystal, first, what is Kirsty on about here?
I liked a bit of a rope bridge. I liked a bit of knots. I liked a bit of map reading. I liked a bit of fire building. And I liked a bit of cooking. We need to go back to basics. I think we need mend a bike tyre, do some electric plug work, make stuff.
I think Kirsty was talking about girl guiding. Is that right?
That is the right answer. Well done, Scott. That's a good spot, mate. Yes, this week, Girl Guiding unveiled 72 new badges, rewarding everything from sleeping and laughing to grooving and sharing their guiding sparkle. The badges will be introduced to girls aged 4 to 18 across Rainbows, Brownies, Guides and Rangers. Historical records show that in 1909, a group of women gate-crashed a scout meeting demanding something for the girls, leading to the creation of both the Girl Guides and the Chippendales. Scott, well done in getting the right answer there. What do you think? Do you like the look of the new badges?
It's very kind of sort of mindful and sort of new agey, the stuff, the badges that they're talking about these days. Like in my days, you know, you get badges for getting a 2-litre bottle of cider into your bra.
What do you think, Crystal? Any thoughts on this? Do you like the look of the new badges? What if I said no? They're crap. No, they're great. I think they could be a little grittier, add some flames. But I think if you really want to honor the women and girls that earn these badges, then maybe on every badge there should be like a picture of a disappointed man's face.
In 1980, that was the height of Guide membership, right? Guides and Brownies and Rainbows. In 1980, homosexuality was decriminalised in Scotland. Since then, since 1980, the numbers have more than halved of Girl Guides. Do you know why? Because we lesbians don't need to hide anymore. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Well, look, we're not quite sure about some of the topics for the badges, so let's have a little brainstorming moment here. I'll start with you, Scott. What should there be a badge for and why?
I think there should be a Melania badge, right? No, it's how to marry a rich man and then spend that marriage avoiding being touched or kissed by him.
Crystal, what about you? What should there be a badge for and why?
Putting your T-shirt on without getting deodorant on it.
Alex, I'll throw this out to you. Bit of fun here. What should there be a badge for and why?
A badge that helps you not say anything you shouldn't online, and that badge would be called Dance Like Nobody's Watching, but WhatsApp like anything can be screenshotted. Right, that's important for me.
Susie, what should there be a badge for and why?
A badge for maintaining eye contact, taking off their headphones and able to communicate with an adult. That's what I would do.
Yes, well done. New badges for Girl Guides is the right answer. Scott and Crystal, you get 2 points for that. Now to you, Susie and Alex. It's your turn. What do you think our David is talking about here?
Folk that are cheery and a bit like golden retriever dogs. You know, they're nice enough, but the intelligence is not up there. You kind of need to get yourself a honey badger. I mean, apart from the sharp teeth, they're great problem solvers.
Is it this story about optimistic people thinking alike, but pessimistic people thinking different?
Well done. A new study has revealed that optimists view the world in a very similar way to each other, but those who are pessimistic have varying neural patterns, meaning they see the world in a more unique and individual way. The research also suggests that pessimists may be able to envisage a wider range of things that could go disastrously wrong in a worst-case scenario, whereas optimists are more likely to agree on a best-case outcome. Experts say if you see the glass as half full, you're an optimist. If you see it as half empty, you are a pessimist. And if you see it and immediately bat it off the table, you're a cat. Alex, that was a brilliant answer. Well done, my friend. So what are your thoughts on this research then?
I was trying to work out whether I'm optimistic or pessimistic. I think, like, naturally as a person, I'm optimistic. But I think it's very difficult to look at the modern world and, like, the climate and the environment and war and feel anything other than worried about the future. I think I'm basically a glass half full person, but the glass is half full of microplastics. That's where I am.
So a big study out this week all about what it takes to be a pessimist and an optimist. Crystal, what do you think about this research? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's great to have scientific confirmation that we're smarter. But pessimists always knew this, you know, like we're the ones paying attention, right? Like, but ironically, pessimists are going to hate this study because it will make us happy, which we don't like.
See, I used to think I was quite a sort of full-on sceptical sort of pessimist. And then I started sort of reading the comments section and social media. And I am actually sunshine and light compared to these people. What in God's name? They cannot find a bit of joy in anything, you know. Doesn't matter. They'll complain if the councils don't spend money. If they spend money, it'll be a waste of money and it'll no work.
Can I tell you a story about a conversation that happened in a pub not too far from here in this city, where there was a big march at the start of July, right? And somebody went into the pub and went, see that? That is an absolute pest. I'm trying to go about my business and blah, blah, blah. They should just ban it. To which a guy standing at the bar went, well, if you're banning that, you'll need to look at the Race for Life and the Santa Dash.
Well, look, obviously we live in a world where perhaps the news isn't always the brightest and most positive. So I'm going to ask our guest this week to give us one reason to be optimistic. Scott, give us one reason to be optimistic.
It'll all be over soon.
I feel better already. And now this may be hard for a self-confessed pessimist, Crystal, but give us one reason to be optimistic.
Well, because of global warming, Scotland now kind of gets a summer. Just don't think about the fact that it means the earth is burning. Like, just celebrate summer the way that Scottish people do. Break out those weird flat barbecues that you sell at co-ops. And burn a hole in the grass right under the no barbecuing sign. Enjoy your summer.
Yes, that's right. The outlook of optimists and pessimists is the right answer. 2 points goes to Susie and Alex. This is Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Susie and Alex, you're first this time. Who is this?
When I first got involved with the Scottish Greens, we were on the margins of Scottish politics. We weren't taken seriously. We made no difference in people's lives.
That is the leader of the Green Party, Mr. Patrick Harvie.
Yes, this week Harvie saw off a campaign to replace him as the party's top candidate in Glasgow at the 2026 Holyrood election. Self-described radical Green members who were critical of his time leading the party had sought to replace him. Since then, the party have had to issue a revised set of candidate lists after an error was discovered in how selection votes were counted.
I love this description. Radical members of the Green Party. So let's think about how radical this is going to be. This is somebody putting, like, tofu in with mung beans. We're not talking Jimmy Reid, we're not talking Peter Thatchell, we're not talking the suffragettes, we're talking radical members of the Green Party. Do you know who they people are? They're the people at the party who bring out the guitar.
So he saw off the campaign to replace him as the party's top list candidate in Glasgow for next year's Holyrood election. Scott, what do you make of this? Is this a win for Patrick Harvey?
Aye, because he won.
Yeah.
He won.
Well, listen, let's take that and talk about who could be a leader of the Scottish Greens. They're looking for a new co-leader. What traits do you think the leader of the Scottish Greens should have? Susie?
Got minimum vegetarian. Because, like, eating meat's bad for the environment, right? So minimum vegetarian, play a guitar. Quite like poetry.
Yeah.
Basically just a posh middle-aged lesbian.
Alex, what traits do you think the leader of the Scottish Greens should have?
Was Scottish Greens, so should like outdoor hobbies, like be entitled to Scottish citizenship, and sort of like attack the kind of fundamentals of global capitalism. So Donald Trump. Scottish mum, loves golf, massive tariffs. Trump later 2026. That's the.
What traits do you think the leader of the Scottish Greens should have? Crystal?
You know, similar to, this has happened loads of times, when like a bunch of male politicians get together to decide on women's health care. I think it's really offensive that up till now, the Green Party has been run by people who are not green. So I think the person should be tall, someone who sticks up for himself, a great sense of humor, background in science, really strong, a lot of anger, basically the Hulk. I think the Incredible Hulk.
Right, Scott and Crystal, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
Like, I love music. I love every form of music. Like I was saying, if I adore you as a musician and I love your music, I'm going to reach out.
That is Snoop Dogg, and I think he's talking about how he bought a stake in Swansea Football Club.
Well done, that is the right answer, Crystal. Yes, Snoop Dogg, the rapper and producer, has become co-owner and investor of Swansea City, with the US rapper hailing the Welsh Football Club as an underdog that bites back, just like me. Despite taking a stake in Swansea City, Snoop Dogg has confirmed that he won't be sitting in the chairman's seat as he's not allowed in the furniture.
Like, it seems like more and more Americans are, like, low-key investing in stuff in the UK in recent years, you know? We're sneaking over here and hope you don't notice. We're like, yeah, like, what are you talking about? Us, America? We've always loved football, famously. But Glasgow better watch out, though. Before you know it, there'll be so many Americans over here, you'll think you're in Edinburgh.
It's Swansea City. We're not talking about a major, massive football club here. We're talking about the second city in Wales. Wales, it's not even a proper country. It's a principality. He could probably have bought Wales. Why didn't he just buy Wales? Now I want to know, why are you not buying Wales? Because I bet Starmer would sell it.
This is what Snoop's doing, investing in Swansea. But if you had the money, what would you invest in and why?
I'd buy Wales.
Oh, Alex, what about you? If you had the money, what would you invest in and why?
I think the biggest problem in politics is like you can't make politicians do long-term decisions because it's kind of short-term electoral cycles. So I would invest in cryogenic technology, which at the end of each 5-year parliament, we would do a ballot. Half of the MSPs and MPs would get put with their families into cryogenic pods and have to wake up in 50 years and live the long-term economic consequences.
Scott, what about you? If you had the money, what would you invest in and why?
Well, here, give us a wee bit of a parameter. What money are we talking about, right? Are we talking Jackie Bird reporting Scotland, big money, or John Mackay, STV News at 6. Right, what budget are we working with here? I need to know.
Yeah, think high. Think Jackie Bird.
Right. All right. In that case, right, I think I'm going to open a Scottish gift shop on the Royal Mile.
Yes, American rapper Snoop Dogg is the right answer. 2 points goes to Scott and Crystal. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
He was magic.
That is Naked Attraction host Anna Richardson there, talking about her time when Paul Daniels appeared on the show. Right, fingers on the buzzers. Here we go. What was found 470 miles away from where it should have been? Alex.
Craig and Charles Reed after a planned 30-mile walk.
What was found 470 miles away from where it should have been? Scott.
Donald's trousers.
What was found 470 miles away from where it should have been? Crystal.
A man who lied to his wife about going to a Coldplay concert.
Let's see if we can get the right one at any point. What was found 470 miles away from where it should have been? Susie.
Stephen Flynn's shampoo.
I love it. We're washing our hair off breaking the news this week. What I was looking for was this. What was found 470 miles away from where it should have been? A rugby ball owned by a club in North Tyneside. It went missing and was found 470 miles away, washed up in Denmark.
He was magic.
Oh, there's our klaxon. Anna has Richardson. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Susie McCabe and Alex Keeley. And commiserations to Crystal Evans and Scott Agnew. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. A mother of 3 has smashed the 100-mile rat race to Edinburgh Castle, finishing in 17 hours and 23 minutes, more than 2 hours ahead of the closest male competitor. Anna Rutherford put her win down to intense training, advanced nutrition, and being willing to ask for directions. Tributes have been pouring in for Black Sabbath singer Ozzy Osbourne, who has sadly died at the age of 76. When King Charles woke up to the news that the Prince of Darkness was on his way to a better place, he became very upset, as he thought Andrew was coming to visit. And a man escaped a French prison by hiding in the bag of a fellow inmate who was being released. They were caught, though, when the guard asked, "Did you pack the bag yourself?" And the bag said, "Aye." The news is broken. I've been